Hello, hello, happy Thursday. It is March 28th. I gotta check. I never know what day it is. We are live. I'm going to make sure that we are live in all the places. I am Tanisha Stalnaker of SVS. We are your go-to systems team for all things automation, systems, SEO, and web design. And I have with me Kenniqua Lewter. And she is not only a fellow HoneyBook enthusiast and trainer and educator and pro, she's also an amazing marketer, especially when it comes to YouTube. So I cannot wait for today's segment because I know that I'm going to learn something new. So as always, I like to give a few disclaimers. The whole point of this series is us being, unplugged and real in real life. And so we're all working from offices. And so like I'm testing to make sure that we're actually live where we're supposed to be live. So I see us on Instagram, I see us on LinkedIn, and let's see, do I see us on Facebook? No. So interesting. So I'm going to refresh Facebook and see where we go there. Facebook is funny because it always makes us live, but then it also sets it to private so no one ever sees it. So let me change that audience really quickly.
Yeah, that does happen.
All right, so now we are live and in all the places. So welcome for anybody who is joining us and tuning in right now. A couple other disclaimers. It is a gloomy, rainy day here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And that means that all of my furry animals are in the house. So one is sitting next to me, ready to attack my shadow on the wall at any moment. So if you hear commotion, I promise I'll be okay and I'll do a wellness check after this live. But either way, both dogs are in the house. So at the sight of anybody in the yard, bird, squirrel, leaf blowing, if you hear dogs barking, I will try to mute as quickly as possible. But it's just the real life situation. So, but my disclaimers aside, I want to give Kenniqua a chance to introduce herself and tell you more about her business.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me here. Yes, my name is Kenniqua, and I am the owner of K&D Jones Client Services LLC. We specialize in Squarespace website design, system strategies, mostly in HoneyBook, as well as digital products. So we work with female entrepreneurs that are solopreneurs or have small businesses and really just help them get their websites up, stand out online, and basically just streamline their businesses.
Awesome. So complete side note. I think so far you are the third or fourth fellow honey booker that I've had. And I think it's kind of cool that where some might see that as like competition, I think the fact that we all approach it so differently is really cool, especially different perspectives and how we talk about different topics in our business. Speaking of topics, so you picked something unique so far, at least to our guests, which is leveraging YouTube as a service-based business. Normally, I always ask, why did the person pick this topic? But I am pretty sure I already know the answer for you because I have seen some of your other content related to YouTube, and I attended your session back in December about the importance and different ways to use YouTube. So that being said, I guess my question then is, given your experience with different tools, Squarespace, HoneyBook, all those things, I guess, what was it about YouTube that got you so, where you became so passionate about it?
So this is the thing. So I really didn't even, of course, I have an Instagram account. I have a Facebook account. I got I'm in all the places, right? But YouTube, what drew me to YouTube initially was because I could create long form content. And that's really what I wanted to do because I felt like I had a lot to say. And so on other platforms, there really wasn't a way to like say everything that I wanted to say or teach what I wanted to teach. And that's what led me to like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and just start sharing some videos and start teaching some of the things that I know that helped me as just starting in business. Let me go ahead and share that with other people. And so it was YouTube for me to be able to do it. And it wasn't from a standpoint of that I just liked being on camera. That wasn't it. It was solely because I felt like I just had a lot to share.
I love that. And it's funny because this year I'm definitely more visible than I've been in all the other years in business. And, I've done trainings and I've done webinars, and for whatever reason, like now that you're saying that, I'm like, I have all of these Loom trainings just sitting there that could all be on YouTube, and none of them were there. So, I think that is the difference, of course, with long form content. I will admit that I tend to be the person that hops on camera and says something for 36 seconds and then hops off. So the short form content was perfect for me because I've been avoiding the camera for so long. This year, of course, we're changing that. That's another reason why I started the series, because I like having conversations and I like having real life conversations with people. And in this case, this is just a conversation that we're allowing other people to listen in on and join if they wish. So, I guess for your clients, are most of your clients also having you support them with their YouTube as well, or educate?
So this is thing. So I just started what I now call the YouTube Academy. And so the YouTube Academy is basically where it's a membership program. So they would pay, once a month, and we would meet once a month on an education topic that has to do with YouTube, content creation, content marketing. And then also too, they will get the community aspect of it as well. So I just started the membership literally about 2-3 weeks ago. I just started it. Thank you. So I just started it. And ideally what I want is to be able to teach people how to be able to get on YouTube and use it effectively for their businesses, because I think it's a missed opportunity. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I am sure. I think that sometimes people may be fearful about getting on camera, and they are maybe more accustomed to using the other social platforms like Instagram, like Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of that. And all of those are fine. But for a person like me that doesn't really care for social media too much, I found that YouTube, it's still pushing my content from a year, 2 years ago. And so the work that I do, it's not going in, I don't feel like it's going in vain, versus I take time to produce some content on, or for social media, for Instagram, and then it's dead. I get like a like or two, and it's from people that I know. So that's not helping me.
Your personal friends are like your biggest fans, and none of them are going to ever be your client.
Exactly. I'm in the comments like, yeah, thanks, auntie. Like, it's just like, what was that? Leonard says I'm allergic to camera fronts. I think that's the thing that really people I'm not going to say can't get over, because I feel like anybody, if I can get over it, I feel like other people can get over it. You're getting over it right now.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a useful tool for, I think, every service-based business. And I think product-based businesses too, but products, you kind of do products a little bit different on YouTube. But if you have a service, definitely get on YouTube.
Yeah.
Get on YouTube.
I think, the funny thing with the camera part, it's not even the literal being on camera. It's my facial expression gets me in trouble a lot more than I care to admit. And the thumbnail is my enemy. Like, I've had so many people screenshot my facial expressions from doing it, so that I think when I started in business and I was on camera and that happened, it kind of made me a little bit camera shy. Now I'm just like, screw it. You're going to get what you get, and the face is going to do whatever it's going to do. And, my husband just showed me a thumbnail from my live last week, and he's like, what was happening? And I was like, I don't know. I think my face was reacting to something that was said. And, they caught it in the crazy thumbnail. So, I mean, it's going to become part of my brand, I'm sure, but it is what it is.
So this is the trick with that. So initially when I was doing thumbnails, because thumbnails are something that I feel like it takes a lot of time to kind of like be able to get a hang of how to produce a good thumbnail. So I've been posting on YouTube since 2020. So I've gotten a little bit better, of course, by doing 300 plus videos, doing 300 plus thumbnails. So I've gotten a little bit better, but the trick with the picture. So as you're recording yourself, instead of having someone go through and like take a snippet of while you're talking, is to actually pose like at the end or the beginning of your video.
Okay.
So like after you're done, do your pose, whatever it is, hold it for 10 seconds, do another one, or whatever type of poses you want. That way, when they go through and they take those screenshots, they can screenshot it in a still image versus them trying to catch you in a good way as you're talking, because we can be doing a lot of things with our face as we're talking. But yeah, so just pose for a couple seconds and let them pull the clip that way, and that's easier.
I'm going to try that. And I think that I'm even going to probably just post it publicly so the world can see how awkward it is at the end where I'm just randomly.
It is. It's very awkward. It is definitely awkward. It is definitely awkward. And initially, because that's what you used to see like all the YouTubers do. And like I tell people all the time, like, I'm not a YouTuber. I am not a YouTuber. I'm not a content creator. I'm just creating content and I'm putting it on YouTube because that's my business. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? But so you'll see all the YouTubers and they'll make all these crazy faces. You know what I'm saying? They'll do all of that. I never was into that. Like the best that you're going to, the most you're going to get from me is maybe a point, but I'm not going to do all of the, you know, sad faces. I'm not about to do all of that.
Yep. I can't do that either. It's just, I figured out at least which side of my face the profile is better on this side. And that's all I've learned in all of these years. So I guess when it comes to leveraging YouTube, I guess if you had some tips for somebody starting out or tips for somebody who has been on it for a while, they're just not really seeing any traction, what would you tell them?
So the first thing I would recommend is having some type of niche. And I'm not saying niche down to like completely, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube. Like there are a lot. Like there's so many videos that you will never, ever, ever, ever see. Yeah. So having some type of niche will help you to be able to kind of get your videos to kind of cut through the noise. So if you're, let's say, have a tax business, then creating videos for your particular ideal client will be helpful, as well as creating content that even maybe other tax professionals may just like to watch you. So if I were starting a channel, and YouTube has changed a little bit over the years, like, so I'll tell you what I did and what I think is now years into it that was kind of a mistake. So when I first started YouTube, not only did I go super niche with the ideal client, I went super niche focusing on only one topic. That was it. So I created hundreds of videos on one topic. Now, granted, that one topic allowed for me to be able to connect with people that wanted that particular topic. And of course, you know, have me grow my channel. Like, so I have like over 12,000 right now. However, the problem comes in is that when you as an individual really, I'm not going to say get tired of talking about that one topic, but kind of, because we're multifaceted people. Like I like other things and I know how to do other things. And so I like to share other things. So the problem comes when years down the road that you've been talking about one thing, that now when you want to talk about other things, are those people wanting to talk about those things? Yeah. So it's really good to kind of come up with a niche, but in that niche to like, just like how you would do like on Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that, is to have like content pillars. So your niche may be the same. Maybe you have a tax business, but maybe you're showing videos of maybe some day in the lives of a tax professional. Maybe it's tax business tips. Maybe it's business tips that aren't necessarily fully related to just tax. It might be general, like maybe management or organization. So you can mix it up. So now you're talking to basically that same ideal client, but yet you're showing them different parts. So, and that sometimes will bring in other people as well too, that might not necessarily be interested in taxes per se, but they are interested in you as just like an individual. Hopefully that makes sense. So like with me, I'm having to kind of go through now and like, okay, now I have to try to introduce my audience to more videos, different type of content, which I'm playing around with at this moment in time. So that's the number one thing though, is to kind of have that focus, but branch in different aspects of that ideal client.
The focus part, I would admit, is probably my area of weakness because, and it has been for years, because especially when my business shifted to an agency, you know, it used to be that thing when people asked me for my elevator pitch and I would just word vomit every system that popped in my head. It was like, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. In my brain, it literally feels like movie credits, where it's like a rolling scroll of all the things. And then people would blank out and be like, oh, okay. So then I oversimplified it. It's just like, we do systems. So if somebody asks, I can go into more detail. But when it comes to YouTube, it's one of those things where your content pillar recommendation would probably make sense. Where it's like, do we want to have like a pillar for CRM related tools or tips, or automation related things, or SEO or web design or whatever? Because our audience is typically needing at least one, if not a combination of those things. So I started recording and doing some stuff focused with HoneyBook, because we record looms all the time for clients that are offboarding. We do training videos. So then I was like, well, it's ridiculous for us to keep recording these videos when last year I could say there's not that many changes. This year HoneyBook has been on a roll, and so every video is obsolete 2 weeks later. So we have had to re-record some of them. But taking all of that stuff that we're saying over and over again and building the channel based off of that, where instead when we offboard, we can just say, here's your library and your YouTube channel. So it makes sense to say we can have a library related to HoneyBook, a library related to Dubsado or ClickUp, the things that we're using and that we're in all the time, go high level, whatever. But then the second I say it, when I really start to think about the amount of content that each one of those pillars would require, then it's like, okay, my brain's tired. It's too much. Never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not going to do that anymore. So I get started, and then it's like the overwhelm happens, and then I move on to something else.
So I definitely think it's good to, like what you said, have those buckets. And inside on YouTube, you can also create playlists. So I would recommend having that playlist of Dubsado, of HoneyBook, of ClickUp. And no one knows but you of when you're going to go through and put a video in the HoneyBook bucket or in the Dubsado bucket. So I wouldn't worry about getting overwhelmed with it. If you can produce one video a week, that's really great, because it's really about consistency. But you don't have to go through and tell people everything. So I think a lot of times too, like when I first got started, I felt like I had to give you all of the tips that had to deal with that particular thing, right? But you don't. Giving someone just 1 or 2 tips about that thing, that's it. That's all the video needs. Like your sweet spot for your videos are probably going to be anywhere from 10 to probably like 12 minutes. Anything longer than that, people start kind of tuning out of it, So I would kind of do that. And then, so if I were to give people advice, like, so if going back and if I were to start a channel again today, what I personally would do is, and this is going to be for your first 10 videos, right? As a service-based business, I would do the 80-20 rule. So I would start off doing 80% of my video that was niche, that answered the questions that my ideal client had.
Okay.
The reason for that is because, let's say, going back to the tax example, right? So if you're a tax professional and these are questions that your clients, or maybe even you're a tax coach or something like that, answer those questions, because what's going to happen is people are going to go to Google or go to YouTube and they're going to type in that particular question that they have, and then your video is going to pull up. So as a new YouTuber, especially talking about business, if you're not talking about, if you don't have what's for SEO purposes, so search engine optimization, if you're just creating random videos like about me videos, no one cares about you because they don't know you. You haven't even posted a video yet, So going for search initially is going to be a really good thing. Now, the other 20%, to those other 2 videos, I would recommend going into doing something that is going to be a little bit more personable, because now people are requiring to kind of get to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
And I think one thing that I, to this day, and that's what I'm working on now for me, is going through and trying to show more of my personality. Because before, I want to just give this information to you, teach you, and then let's go. Like, I'll have people to say, oh yeah, I've actually had people approach me here in the store, like, oh, I know you from YouTube. But like, if you know me from the internet, then you really don't know me. Like, you really just don't know me, just because I just give you the content and that's pretty much it. Like, you probably don't know how many kids I have, you probably don't know any of that because I don't talk about that stuff. But now it is a little bit more where you do have to be a little bit more personable and share a little bit more of your life. So I will be implementing some vlogs, which is a pretty scary thing to do, but that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm really nervous about this, but but that's what I would recommend for the other 20% is to show some behind the scenes. So it could be something like you working in your office, what you do and still implementing. So still showing the things that you're doing in your business. So people still get it that you're doing these things in your business. Like, I like to watch videos like about people making candles, tumblers, all of that. Well, though I've never purchased any candles or tumblers from those businesses, I tune in every week because I'm just curious, like, what are you doing? What are you making? And people are nosy. So though people might not be interested in your tax business, they might be interested in you to be like, oh, I like how she works, or I like her office, or like even when you were doing your background, like what you have now, like people were looking like, oh, let's see the till, or no, we like this curtain or that curtain. People like to do that.
To like do a final like video. I have one thing to fix in the office. I will just admit, while we're here, since we're telling about ourselves, this office remodel that was initially just painting a wall has now been painting the whole thing and new curtains and all of that. But it has also brought out a very strong spray paint addiction. I have spray painted so much of the things in my office. I took my desk apart and spray painted it. I spray painted all my frames. I have a dry erase board. I bought a glass dry erase board that nothing's on it because it's perfect and there's no fingerprints or anything. And my husband's like, well, then what are you going to put on it? I was like, I don't know, but let's not ruin it right now. It looks amazing and shiny. But then I have the regular dry erase board that actually people write on. And then I was like, look, the border's black, so now I got to cover that and spray paint the whole thing. So yeah, it's
a whole project.
What else can I spray paint here? And it actually, it might work out. So I don't know that I would want to video that for the world because it's not a pretty sight, but I do also watch those, like the people cleaning their house videos, so I think that's a great tip. I can't promise that I'll be the best at it. I pretty much share my life pretty openly, even when I'm supposed to be focused, like him almost taking out the wall a few seconds ago because the shadows moved again. Yes, I am a new graffiti artist of my own office. Thank you, Leonard. So everything's gold this year. Now, next year when my tastes change, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll find a different color and spray paint again, I guess. But okay, so content pillars, playlists, 80-20 starting out. Now, I guess because you mentioned SEO, what tips would you have, I guess, because quite frankly, if I'm being blunt honest, the part of this series was a twofold thing. A big part of it was visibility and just putting myself out there more often. Even if I'm not necessarily spending the time talking about all the things that we do, I wanted to showcase real business owners having real conversations, because the one thing that I see a lot with content is people having these staged, everybody's perfect, we are both fully made up, contoured faces, eyelashes on, perfection at every angle. And that's nice, but I just don't think that's like real life. And so I wanted to showcase real people in real situations talking about their businesses. The other part was SEO, because this is being streamed on YouTube. It was like, well, if I don't create any video on my own for a few weeks, at the very least, there's consistent videos being put on YouTube between YouTube shorts and things like that. But SEO, since I rebranded last year, has been a really big focus for me with my team, our website, blog posts, everything. And so YouTube was just kind of bringing that in full circle. So when it comes to SEO, what do you recommend for people?
So there's a tool, and there are different ones, but the one that I use is TubeBuddy. And so TubeBuddy allows for you to be able to put in, so like your title of the title of your video. So for example, like the one that you have here, so it's Entrepreneurs Unplugged, and then it has leveraging, YouTube, right? So if I were placing this video, my focus is YouTube and SEO. I'm going to lead with the leveraging YouTube for service-based businesses. So I would lead with the topic of your video. And then if you want to put Entrepreneurs Unplugged, because what happens is that's going to be the main key focus for people and for YouTube is Entrepreneurs Unplugged.
Okay.
But they don't know what Entrepreneurs Unplugged is. And then a lot of times, even on your cell phone, when someone, because most people watch YouTube from their phone. So when they watch it on their phone, most of what they're probably going to see is probably Entrepreneurs Unplugged and then maybe leveraging. But that YouTube portion is going to be cut off unless they actually click on it. Okay. So I would go with the keywords, the heavy keywords first. And then if you want to put Entrepreneurs Unplugged at the end, you can. But it's not necessarily required. I think I did look at your YouTube page before I came in here, but it's not required to even put the Entrepreneurs Unplugged. You don't have to even put that in the title, of the video, just because you do have it on the thumbnail. So you have it on the thumbnail. Make sure that the volume's not going to go up. You have it on the thumbnail already, so you don't have to. So basically with your thumbnails, so thumbnails and titles and SEO, kind of like what you're asking me, right? Mm-hmm. All of that. So your thumbnail and your title, they don't have to say the same thing. You don't want them to actually say the same thing. It's kind of like your thumbnail gives like the preview to what your title is going to be. So they should complement each other, but you don't need them to say the same thing. Okay. So when you put in that title in TubeBuddy, so you can use TubeBuddy. What is the other one? It's TubeBuddy, and it's one more that a lot of people use. I have to look it up. I can't remember the name of it, but I use TubeBuddy, and it's fairly inexpensive. Matter of fact, I think they give you like 50% off if like you have less than like 1,000 subscribers or something like that. They even give you a discount. But what was I say? Oh, SEO. So when you go through and you put in your title, so for like mostly every video, especially a video that I'm looking to hopefully have it ranked, what it'll do is you can put in your title and it's going to give you the ranking based off of your channel, based off of other people's channels. And it's going to tell you whether or not it's bad, like fair, good, great, excellent, or something like that. So once you start producing enough content in a particular area, then it's going to tell you, like, so for example, if I were to say something like virtual assistant or something like that, well, because I produce quite a few videos on virtual assistant, if I have a title that has virtual assistant in it, it's probably going to give me an excellent or a great rating for it. Okay. Versus if I were to say, me at home cooking, it's not going to give me, it's going to give me, that's bad because you don't do any cooking videos, right? And so that's really helpful. And then it gives you the tags. It helps you TubeBuddy will suggest certain tags to you to put on your videos. Now, tags aren't as important, but I put them on every video. People debate that it's not the thing that you have to do, but I still put them on every single video because it does help get your videos, help it to be seen too. So as far as SEO, definitely the key words. So what you're trying to actually go for.
Okay. Awesome. Side note to my social media manager, Amy, feel free to take notes on this one since this is completely in your lane here. And thank you for paying attention on this one. So, and I really appreciate those tips. And as a quick side note, hello, Coach Sophia. Hearts back to you too. She was one of my first coaching clients. So wanted to shout her out. Okay. So is there anything else? I guess it's kind of like if you've been given some amazing tips. So first off, thank you for that. But I guess I'm going to ask a question kind of in reverse. Is there anything that it's like, the saying is like done is better than perfect. Is there anything that you would advise somebody, like no matter what you do on YouTube, make sure you at least don't do this? Is there a thing in that category where it's like, whatever you do, just avoid this and you should be good to go?
If I were to say anything like don't do is, I guess, two things. Don't give up. Sounds pretty generic, but don't give up and don't focus so much on your views initially. Okay. Because once you start on YouTube, your views are probably going to be low, right? when you start doing and getting on camera, you're probably not going to be the best at it. Unless that's just what you do. So you're probably not going to be the best at it. I mean, it is, I think sometimes people may not understand like YouTube, and even after posting as many videos that I have, I'm still working through it as well because I'm not a professional camera person. Like it ain't like I went to school for this or nothing like that. So, but there are things that there's ways that you kind of like hook the viewer in with hooks and the transitions and edits and all of that. But it's also things that you say that kind of move conversations along and kind of keep people engaged. Those are all skills that you build over time. So I wouldn't get discouraged about the views, especially when you're first starting out, because especially from a service-based business standpoint, I feel like it's better for you to really focus on why you're actually doing YouTube. And if you're not doing it because you want to be a YouTuber, you're trying to go viral, then focus on why you're doing it, which is to kind of go through and reach your ideal client and make money, to get leads and stuff. So I wouldn't worry about that. Like there's been videos that I have on my channel that don't have that many views on it, even years that don't have that many views, but I've gotten brand deals from them. So it accomplished the goal that it was supposed to accomplish. It got a brand deal. Or I'll have videos that make sales. And I guess one other thing too I would mention is, and I guess this is not a don't do, but this is to do, is to make sure that if you don't already, I would encourage every single person to have a digital product. Have a digital product that you can link to your description box in all of your videos. Even if it's going to be something that is free, which I recommend it to be paid, but if you don't want to do it as paid, I would do it as free or paid. Free for a lead magnet. That way you can build your email list. People can be coming to you to build your email list. Or if you're going to do it paid, at least you could be making money even before you're monetized on YouTube. So like I was making money from YouTube before I was monetized. Like it took me a long time. It took me about 15 months to get monetized because initially when I started posting videos, I wasn't posting videos. Like I wasn't even thinking about earning money from YouTube, like getting Google AdSense. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm like, I'm just posting videos until I started getting close. Then I'm like, hold on, this studio is saying I'm kind of close. Let me work a little harder. So then that's when I'm like, okay, let me focus. And then actually my subscribers was going up, but my watch time wasn't. So I'm like, man, what do I need to do to, increase my watch time so I can get these watch times? And, I'm asking my dad, like, make sure you watch every video.
Hey, Auntie, I know I was talking about you on Facebook, but please don't YouTube.
Yes, watch every video. I need my watch time up so I can get monetized. And it's funny because he did used to do that. He used to watch every video. I'm like, why are you watching the video with the volume on? Like you could just put it, put it on mute. You don't have to watch it for real. Like, but yeah, so have that product in there. That way you're still being able to generate income and you're getting paid, you're bringing in your leads, of course, but at least you're getting paid for some of the work that you're doing because you are producing content. And it's even if it's free to you because you already have things, it still takes your time to be able to do it. So
yeah,
don't get overwhelmed by not having as many views because that sometimes it just happens. Every video is not going to be a hitter. It's just not, especially when you're doing it for business. Most of your videos are not going to be hits as far as views. So look at it from a different perspective as what makes you successful on YouTube.
I think I like the tip about the digital product. And it's at first I was like, oh, well, shit, I don't really have one, but I do have a quiz that's free. But we do have some audits that, you get a pretty robust report and things like that. So I might play with putting the link to those on there, especially because those are some of the flat fee things that we do offer as those systems or SEO audits. So I like that tip there as well. It is funny. I've already given myself grace as far as, subscribers, things like that. Yes, I pay attention to it, but I'm not stressing it because clearly this just started this year, this series. This is episode 8. So it's not like we're hundreds of episodes in and I still have 14 subscribers. So, and I honestly am not really pushing the subscriber, messaging either. So part of that is me not asking. So I guess I'll just use this time to say, hey, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, please do so and subscribe.
Yes, you do have to, you do at some point in your video, you should say it. And now what's so funny is because I think it was maybe within the last 6 months is like on some channels, or you may notice sometimes that when you say the word, hit subscribe on this video, for the viewer, it will highlight the subscribe button. So they made it now where it kind of draws the attention to the subscribe button. Ooh. on the video. So yeah, you definitely want to do that because people will just watch videos like, and then that's common for any channel. Like most people will just like so you think about like if I have 12,000 subscribers, I still have like 30,000 people that still watch the videos, but they're not all going to subscribe. And that's just how it goes. People are not going to always subscribe, but definitely ask.
Case in point, Tracy was even one of the guests on the show. And so, yeah, mental notes. Here we are, episode 8, where I'm learning to tell people to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us for more information. I said it twice. But so, we are living and learning each and every day of business. And as I tell everybody, while I have done marketing, I am not a marketer at any means. So I think it's awesome to have people that come in with different areas of expertise because, it's allowing us to support one another. And you're definitely supporting clients of mine, connections of mine, colleagues of ours. So I really think that's amazing. So thank you for coming.
Awesome. No problem.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to share that you haven't shared already to anybody watching?
Just get started. If you want to increase your business, YouTube could definitely, I guess that's definitely be the place, but it will be the place. If you can be consistent on YouTube and post a video, I would recommend every single week. I mean, consistency looks different for everyone, but if you can post at least once a week, you will start to gain traction on YouTube. A lot of times people quit before they actually get there. Like you quit before the breakthrough. Like it literally takes like, I would say this too, is that my first 1,000 subscribers took the longest time. It took the longest time to get to that first 1,000. After you get to your first 1,000, the algorithm, it's like a snowball effect. It starts off slow, but then it starts picking up. So like it went from 1,000, then it's 2,500, then 5,000, 5,000 jumped to 10,000 like that. Like, so yeah, it does not, it starts to really start to go. So if you even, yourself, like it's going to be harder to get that first 1,000, but once you get there, you'll get there. You keep uploading, you're going to get there, but just don't give up before you get there. Cause I feel like that's where what happens is a lot of people do give up before they get a chance to actually see the success. And again, success is relative, and just start with what you have. So I know sometimes people talk about all the equipment, all the different scenes and all that type of stuff. Just start with what you have. If you have an iPhone and that's all you have, then just use your iPhone. Like we're okay with seeing like the actual you, the actual scenes and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. If anything, I would recommend to buy as soon as you can would be a microphone, just because audio is very important. If your audio isn't that great, people are less likely to kind of sit through a video that has very bad audio. But other than that, start with what you have and just don't give up. Just keep pushing forward. And again, it's a very, very good way to market your business that your efforts will last years. I'm telling you, it will last years. And then once your channel starts taking off, then you'll notice, oh my goodness, people are going back to that video that was a year, 2 years ago. Like I literally still make sales from videos, like I said, that was a year, 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
How many other platforms can you say can do that? So that's my take on it.
Well, thank you. So, one thing I would love if you're willing to do this is after the live ends, one, of course, please share where people can find you and your links to any of your socials. But then also, if you can share a link to TubeBuddy or any of the resources that you've mentioned so that people know exactly where to find it. Um, and thank you for the tip about microphones because I will invest in that soon because I don't know if you all can hear what I'm hearing, which is snoring.
No, I
Um,
can't hear it.
that's amazing. So the noise cancellation in this app works well is because our dear 130 Freddie down here, who is the most disrespectful coworker I've ever had in my life, is down here snoring like he worked third shift for the last 3 nights, and his like he is out cold, and it's real loud from my view. So consider getting a microphone, even if it's just to tune out the nonsense that tends to happen when I get on video. So that being said, I'm glad you guys can't hear him. So I'm thankful for that. But I am so glad that you joined me today. I really appreciate you joining me today and sharing all this information. Each time, I do one of these, it's getting better and better because one, I'm getting more comfortable on camera, but I also just think that, the topics are starting to kind of, grow legs and evolve even past what I might have thought people wanted to hear and talk about. So that leads me to something that I've not done in any of the other episodes, which is a couple things. One, if there are topics that you want to hear about or learn about that we haven't covered already, please, send me a DM or comment below and let me know what other topics that you might want to learn about. If you are ever interested in being a guest on Entrepreneurs Unplugged, please let me know that as well. So far, everybody that's been a guest is somebody that I know because I want it to be a pretty fluid conversation. So if you are interested in ever being a guest and being featured, please, again, comment below or send me a message or a DM. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And so I'm going to have to practice saying that, and make sure that you're following us on Instagram and Facebook so that you get live updates whenever we do go live. We go live almost every week. We do have a couple of breaks in April, but we have some amazing guests still lined up in April, May, and even into June. So stay tuned for Entrepreneurs Unplugged. Thank you again, Kenniqua, for joining me, and happy Thursday.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.